Good afternoon. The little puddle of excellence that we are going to be diving into today surrounds this instrument here. This here is the Ammoon branded Pocket Trumpet. This was sent to me by the Tom Top website, the same people that sent me the $88 B-flat trumpet a few weeks ago that I was genuinely impressed by. And their website link is down below, but this instrument here, the $105 or $106 Pocket Trumpet, is really in a different league. And that league is, if that league were to wear a particular shirt, it would have a big D on the front for disappointing, or perhaps dirty. Because when I received this trumpet, I could tell at first glance and then at first touch that it wasn't a clean instrument. It had in places some sort of oily, grimy residue on it. When you pushed the valves down, you could feel grit and dust and all sorts of neglect and woe. If you tried to move any of the tuning slides were all gritty and felt like the thing had been played in a sandpit before it was sent to me. So I knew the very first thing I'd have to do is go and give it a thorough warm bath in soapy water. A thorough bath in warm soapy water, getting some brushes, cleaning out all the insides of the valves, taking this instrument to pieces and just giving it a bit of a wash. Now that's a bit of a disappointing thing to do, because even though they recommend that when you get a new instrument the first thing that you do is give it a clean, it's a little bit disappointing that you have to do it to that extent. So what I have here to show you is a clean and pocket trumpet that is working to the best of condition that it's possible to work on, given the sort of pitfalls of the manufacturing process. So pocket trumpets are designed for their ease of their small size and the fact that you can, theoretically take them anywhere you like and practice and things on them. But I find in reality that the small size results in the increased volume in your ear, which I don't like. The fact that you can't hold it comfortably and your fingers on the valves feel very unnatural as a result of where the tubing is wrapped and how close that is to the valve. I find that it's actually sort of almost defeats the point of practicing, because it just feels so unnatural in the hand. If we get onto the instrument itself, as I said, the design is fairly similar to standard pocket trumpets. You've got the third valve tuning slide out the back with a thumb ring for adjusting the tuning, I should say. Where this trumpet, the first sign that this trumpet isn't particularly great is the fact that these two tubes here, these should be parallel to each other, and you can tell that this one sort of cants that way and this one cants quite a lot that way, and you can actually, oh yuck, it's leaking on me, and you can actually sort of see little bits where the solder might be coming apart at the top. Now that's not because it's been damaged at all, it's just the way that this instrument was sent to me. The other thing that I really want to draw your attention to is the quality of workmanship on the valves. I have never seen valves with such a rough surface finish as these valves here. The surface finish on these valves is absolutely atrocious. You can see marks, lines that run around the valve themselves. That just looks pants. But also the rims around where the tubing for the these inner tubes go, that is also just got an awful finish on it. The result of that is that when you put your finger down these valves, they are not smooth. They just feel like somebody's used 60 grit sandpaper, really coarse sandpaper, to try and make this finish on it. And sure enough, if I leave this instrument for a week or so, the next time I go to pick it up, everything's seized up. You have to get some pliers out to try and yank the valve out and all sorts of things. I'm often accused of being a little bit too pedantic, a little bit too picky. I mean, after all, for $106, what do you expect? Well, I expect poor edges, I expect, perhaps a couple of sharp things, but the thing that's going to really limit the life of this instrument is the quality of the finish on the valves. If you're not a musician who plays instruments this one's even worse. This here is the second valve. Again, you can see the excellence that has gone into the manufacturing of this, but you can also see some black marks over little sections, black dots. Those black dots are caused by metal fragments that have become mixed with the oil that I use in copious quantities to keep these valves working. Now, I said that I gave this instrument a thorough cleaning before I started using it, and that's true, but the roughness of the surface of these valves causes more metal to just slowly get worn away as the valves articulate up and down inside the valve casing. And so even though this is, for all intents and purposes, a new instrument, the condition that these valves are in means that I don't expect this instrument to have a very long shelf life at all. Actually, it's probably got a very long shelf life. It's probably got a short life if you play it from time to time, which of course is the point of an instrument. In conclusion, here is an instrument that you can buy very cheaply, but an instrument that highlights all the pitfalls of buying Chinese-made, inexpensive student-grade instruments. It very much is something that your mileage will vary, and it's a luck of the draw sort of gamble whether you get something that is usable or you get something like this, which I consider to be a total waste of money. In particular, though, the Ammoon brand, I've now encountered 3 or 4 instruments, various types of instruments made by Ammoon. Every one of them has been a disappointment to me. So my personal views, based on the sample size of 3 or 4, is that Ammoon is a brand to stick away from, based on my personal experience.